Shalom, shalom, brother Donal here. Coming back again with another video on this lovely Friday evening, right? I don't know what we're calling these Friday videos nowadays. Salakia, Salakia. But yeah, I don't know what we're calling these Friday videos now, man. Whether freestyle Fridays, factual Fridays. Um, at this point, it might just be free will Fridays, man, because we kind of just go as the Spirit's led. But nonetheless, man, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we do so by way of His Son, who's an instrument of salvation for the nation, who we recognize to be the Israelites, right? The majority of the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that are being oppressed day in and day out, right? Today's video is going to be called "Whose Disciple Are You Of?" Right? Whose disciple are ye of? A lot of people want to move um, in the spirits of a lot of the prophets of old, right? And we had some mighty prophets, man. We had a lot of mighty prophets, and credit to where credit is due. This is not a shade to any prophet in the Bible, any of the forefathers, any of the mighty men that most more than likely gave their lives for these for this truth, for this gospel, right? So, but there is a time and a place for everything, right? The Bible speaks about there's a time for everything underneath the sun, right? There's a time for wrath, there's a time for mourning, there's a time for healing, right? There's a time to get angry, there's a time for joy, right? You know, and what times are we living in now, right? Well, a lot of us we kind of covet the spirit of our the ancient prophets like Elisha, like Jeremiah, right? Some of the mighty men out there, like Ezekiel, um, and that's cool, right? What they did is commendable, and you can definitely see the zeal and the passion that they have for the Most High God. But as we're living today in 2024, man, it's important to know of whose disciple you belong to, right? And what state you should be moving in, right? So without further ado, the brothers might get on later tonight. I don't know, but we're gonna proceed forward. Even if we got to do it solo dolo, I think it's gonna be a good video, man. I think it's gonna be very edifying. Not gonna be before you guys long. Let me share my screen really quick. First preset, we're coming out of the book of Luke, man. The book of Luke. Um, let's see here. There we go. So Luke 9 and 52. We're gonna start at 52. Let's read about what's going on here. Let's get some context, right? Uh, and uh, uh, and sent messengers before his face, talking about Christ, right? And they went and they entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him, right? To make ready so they can receive him, right? Verse 53, and they did not receive him, talking about the Samaritans. They did not receive him because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. They didn't receive him because they kind of were envious on the fact that they or kind of coveting the fact that he wasn't planning on staying with them long and he was going to Jerusalem, right? So he was just staying there for the night, right? And some of us nowadays, if somebody were to come and they were to crash at your house at night and they were to leave, right, before you were to wake up, without saying goodbye or anything like that, a lot of us would find that as disrespectful too, right? But we got to understand, man, when provision needs to be made way for our Lord and Savior, provision needs to be made way, right? Um, but nonetheless, the Samaritans did not accept him, right? They did not welcome him. And so let's see what the disciples had to say about it. This is verse 54. This is key. It says, and when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? Right? So the disciples kind of got mad. Shalom to the brother. the disciples kind of got mad, man, and they're kind of like, man, hey man, what you want us to do, right? We know the disciples are on go for Christ. You know what I'm saying? We see Peter slicing off the ear of the servant, right? When it was time for Christ to be crucified. Right here they on go too. You know what I'm saying? And James and John, man, they're like, what you want us to do? You want us to send fire down from heaven like Elias did, right? Knowing what kind of power that Christ had on the earth, right? We're gonna see what Christ said. Luke 9:55.
Con, this is book of Luke, chapter 9 and verse 55. It says, but he turned and rebuked them and said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are.
And so Christ is saying, hey, look, man, you know, I'm glad that you guys are zealous, you know what I'm saying, but you don't know what type of spirit you're supposed to be moving in right now, right? You guys are moving in the spirit of as the brother said, Elias, right? When you should be moving in the spirit of me, right? Verse 56.
Con, verse 56. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village.
Con, man. One, the principle of the Bible is if they don't receive you, man, dust your feet off, go to the next, right? But nonetheless, the key point here is the fact that Christ is telling them, hey, look, you don't know what spirit you ought to be moving in right now. We're not moving in the spirit of the men of old. We're moving in a new day. And that new day is a day of Christ, the day of what? Loving our brothers as we love ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's important, man, because a lot of time we're gonna get into it, right? But a lot of times, man, where Christ could have lashed out, he understood who and what he was dealing with, right? He was dealing with a broken-hearted people, man. A lot of people that didn't even know what was going on, right? And so, with that being said, man, he tells them, "Hey, man, I'm not here to destroy men's lives. I would rather do the opposite. I'm here to save them, man. I ain't trying to kill nobody before they get the chance to really know who I am, right, and repent. Really know what I'm here to do. Before I even sacrifice myself for the nation, that one man perish and not the whole nation. I'm not here to destroy them before they can actually understand and get a chance to receive that information." Right? You know, so he's saying you don't know of which spirit you're supposed to be working of right now, and the spirit should be of Christ and of love, right? Again, whose disciple are you of, right? Um, but man, just to hone in, just one example on how the prophets of old were dealing with our people, right? Let's go to Second Kings real quick. I just want one example, man, just to show you guys, just to showcase on the spirit that James and John, I believe they were the original sons of thunder, right? About James and John of what spirit they wanted to move in, right? The spirit of our forefathers. Let's go to Second Kings 2 and 23, I believe. Yeah, let's start at 23.
Con, this is the book of Second Kings, chapter 2, starting at verse number 23. And he went up from thence unto Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him.
So we got Elisha, right? And he's going through the city, and these little kids show up, man, and they're mocking him. Right? Keep going.
Con, and said unto him, go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head.
Right, man. So they kind of making fun of the mighty prophet, man. Right? He probably got a lot on his mind, right? And these little kids come up and they in their folly, and they pointing at him. Go up, thou bald head. You got bald head, you know. You know how kids do, right? And what did Elisha do? Right? This is the spirit that James and John wanted to move in, right? Verse 24.
Come on, verse 24. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them.
And that's what James and John wanted to do for them people in Samaria that didn't want to receive Christ, man. They were like, hey, man, Should we set fire on them? You know what I'm saying? Should we curse? Should we put a curse on them and send 2 she bears to eat them alive? Keep in mind, these are children now, right? These are children, and this is how our prophets were moving in the day of old. And you know, like I said in the beginning of the video, there's time and place for everything. There's a time for everything under the sun. At this time, right, of Elisha, right? That's when the time was to do that, man. To make statements, to be bold, right? To make the presence and the fortitude of God known in the earth. To know that he was not a person to play, a man to play with, right? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that he's a person to play with right now, but what I'm saying is, man, that statement was being known back in the earth, right? At that time. Let's go to the book of Matthew really quick, right? To kind of exhort or really hone in on what spirit we're supposed to be in and make sense of this thing. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse number 6. Let's start at verse 5.
Con. This is Matthew 10, starting at verse number 5. And it says, these 12, reading as written, these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city and into the Salakia. Let me read it again. It says, these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
He says, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. One thing I want to hone in on verse 6 is the fact where he says the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? And I'm honing in on this because, man, the difference, right, versus the prophets of old and the you know, how we're moving in today, especially today, right, is the main difference is back then, a lot of the times, right, the majority, 90% of the times, our people knew what it was, right? And we chose evil. Our people chose death, right? Even after being warned. Our people knew what it was. That's why they got the judgments that they got, right? I brought this verse up to say that Christ is telling us to be a disciple of him and go to the lost sheep, meaning we don't know. A lot of our people don't know who they are, what they're supposed to be doing. We don't know our way. We don't know what's going on, right? It said our heritage was taken from us, right? So with that being said, man, there's a difference in approach, right? Back then, you can send that judgment on their head, right? Because a lot of times they knew what they was doing on purpose. They was doing it on purpose. Our people was some wicked people, man, right? Back then, we shouldn't. Hey, man, I'm willing to believe that it was public knowledge that you're not supposed to, revile the gods, which are the important men in the nation, right? The judges, the prophets, right? The children should have known not to provoke that man, right? When we was going out. So back then, man, it was a different approach because our people knew what was going on and they chose not to do it. They chose evil. They chose death. Now today we're lost. The approach has to be different. Let's hone in on this approach real quick. But first, I'm gonna bring this up, right? Let's go to the infamous scripture in Isaiah. Isaiah 1 and 3, right? Just putting emphasis on how lost we are as a people.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, starting at verse number 3. And it reads, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
Two dumb animals, right? Two dumb animals on the earth. They know who they belong to. They know who they are. They know their job, what they're supposed to do every day, right? They know what they're supposed to eat every day, right? But keep reading.
But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
We don't even consider who we belong to. We don't even know who we are. And I brought that last part up. We don't even know what we're supposed to be ingesting. at the very minute part of it, right? We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We're lost. So the approach has to be different. You gotta, again, we are people who our heritage was stolen from us, right? And that happened some time ago, right? And every time you get to another generation, right, we get more and more lost, right? Let me see. Let's go to 2 Timothy 2 and 24, right? Y'all know this is one of my favorite precepts right here, especially for those of us that call ourselves teachers, right? Let's go to 2 Timothy 2 and 24. Talk a little bit about this approach we're supposed to have.
Con,
We're going to read through 25.
Con, this is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2, starting at verse number 24. It says, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient. Verse 25, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves.
You got to think, bro, right? So this is the spirit we're moving in now, right? This is the spirit that disciples, those that are going out to make disciples, should be moving in. A spirit of what? Gentle unto. It's not gentle to send fire from heaven and consume, your people, right? That's not gentle. You got to be apt to teach, right? Got to have some type of patience. When you really go out there, you really have to understand the concept of turning the other cheek. That's literally what Christ exemplified in that passage, where they didn't accept him. Okay, that's cool, right? I ain't gonna nut up or anything. I'm just gonna go to the next city, right? To verse 25 is keto. It says, in meekness, instructing those that what?
Oppose themselves.
We're going out to the lost sheep. They don't know what's good for them, right? They don't even understand that we're trying to help them, right? Have you ever see a stray dog or a stray animal, right? And you see all these Edom mice that's stopping on the side of the road and they're trying to rescue them and whatnot. And they go up to them and it might be, in a jam, all tangled up in rope or something, man. Can't move. Skinny as I don't know what. But as soon as somebody comes to help them, what are they doing? They growling at them. Don't touch me, right? And you kind of got to talk to them. Hey, man, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to hurt you, right? It's the same, and they kind of got to throw the towel over them. You know what I'm saying? The blind so they can scoop them up. That's kind of what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to people that oppose themselves. They don't even understand that they oppose themselves. Going to people, we're telling them y'all are chosen of God, and they're telling me who? Us? No, we're just some niggas. We're from Alabama. We're just from Macon. You know what I'm saying? That's who we're going to. That's why we can't go with the same approach. Why? Even because you got to think back then they knew who their forefathers were. Back in the time of Elisha and all that, they knew what stock they came from, what they were supposed to be doing. They chose death. They chose evil. Right? A lot of our people are choosing evil, but they don't even know why they're choosing evil, right? Because they literally oppose themselves. They're literally lost sheep, right? When we find them, we got to rein them back in and take care of them, nurture them back up. That's our job, right? Let's go to Matthew 9 and 12. Make this thing come alive nowadays, right? Let's go to Matthew 9 and 12. And the Bible's really cold for the analogies that they use, man. This is Christ speaking again, right?
This is Matthew chapter 9 and verse 12. And it says, but when Jesus heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick.
Right, man. They're asking Christ all these questions like, man, why you ain't here? Why you ain't over there? Why you fellowshipping with these folks? Why you keep healing these folks? You know what I'm saying? Why you get found hanging with these guys all the time? He said, man, I got to hang around the sick because, they're the ones that actually need a doctor. Why am I going to somebody that's in full health, right? And claiming to try to make him well, right? He already know what's going on. He already knows how to take care of his body. I'm wasting my time, my breath, and my effort. I need to be around the people that I can make a difference in, right? Just think about this, right? Think about this. Our people, we want to move in the spirit of the prophets of old, right? We constantly want to bring judgment. We constantly want to bring that wrath. But you don't go into the loony bin. Well, I won't say the loony bin. I'll say the psych ward. You don't go into a psych ward, right? And and get mad every time you run into somebody that's mentally unstable, right? You don't go through the psych ward doors going and somebody throws a banana peel at you. You don't get mad, right? You should, or at least you shouldn't, right? Because you know where you at. You at the psych ward. Apparently, the people in there ain't got it all put together, bro. Right? A lot of times when you go to the psych ward, there's people that are working in there that have a wherewithal of who they're working with, and there's a level of what? Patience, gentleness, right? Apt to teach, knowing that you're trying to help people that oppose themselves, right? It's the same thing we're doing, except for our people. We like to go into the psych ward, which is our communities, our ghettos, and we like to teach people that oppose themselves, right? And they throw the banana peel at us. We want to pick it up, throw it back, take our stabs, and beat them with it, right? Not knowing that our people are sick, man. But you got to be able to see that, right? I think Deacon talked about that in one of his songs, right? Let me get another example. Let's get to
if I may add real quick. If I may add real quick, 1 Timothy 8. Let me read it from my church. But this is 1 Timothy Salakia. 1 Timothy 1:8. I'm tripping. 1 Timothy 1:8, and it says, but we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, and then it'll just keep going on. But needless to say, the point, just like the brother made right here with Christ's own word, you can't go into places where people who need the law the most and then get vexed by, the lack of understanding that they have, some of the things that they're doing, because again, that's the whole purpose of you being there, right? So sometimes even on the street corners, we have to be wise in our understanding that, hey, everybody's not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And you can preach to 1 million people, maybe only 10 of them accept the truth. But at the end of the day, the word is going forward, but you just can't expect to see righteousness, you know what I'm saying, in wicked places when the people who need the word are the people who are fulfilling the acts of wickedness, right? The works of the flesh. So we just got to have that type of mentality. We got to have that prudence to foresee the things that are going to take place in areas where we know we got to bring the word out at. You know what I'm saying? Because a prudent man looks well to his going, like it says in the book of Proverbs. But Khan, are you?
Man, that's a mighty precept to bring up. Even just who builds a house and not count the cost, right? How can you say you're setting out to build this house, to build this body of Christ, and not count the costs, not evaluate who you're going to be trying to win back over, to rein back in, right? We say in sports, we say stuff all the time like KYP. You got to know your personnel. If I'm playing with a 50-year-old man, I'm not gonna lead him to a pass that he has to sprint to, right? No, I'm gonna slow down and I'm gonna make sure it hits him right in his chest so he can catch it. You know what I'm saying? Know your personnel, and when we come into this truth and we go out and we start being disciples, we have to know our personnel and to know what spirit we're operating in, right? Those people that have jobs that work with special needs kids, that works with in the psych ward, or just a nurse in general, they know what they signed up for. They know that they have to have a certain level of compassion and patience, right? If if a special needs kid comes up to you and curses you out because he didn't like the way that you said the word soda, right? Because he grew up saying the word pop and he cursed you out for it, and you don't know why he's cursing you out right now. You're not supposed to curse him back, right? You're not supposed to hit him. If a special needs slaps you on one side of your cheek, you know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to turn the other cheek. I seen some madness the other day where a boy, ex-football player, he works with special needs kids. Well, you don't work with them now, but he worked with special needs kids. Special needs kids slapped him, and he slapped them back. Now the brother in prison, right? And that's a good example, right? Because a lot of us need to be in prison by the way we handle a lot of our people, right? Not realizing that they're sick and in need of physicians, man. And we're the physician. There's a show called The Good Doctor, right? Where they got this autistic kid going around, right? And it's bittersweet because he know what he's talking about. He's really smart. He can solve and troubleshoot problems in the drop of a dime, but he lacks social skills. So a lot of times he goes into the room with the patients, right? And he says stuff that might not be seemingly right to the patient, and the patients get mad at him because they don't really even know that he's autistic, right? And when they get mad at him, right, when you watch the show, a lot of them stay mad at him, but some of them, when they find out he's autistic, they kind of take it down a notch, right? When we count the cost and we go out there, we gotta understand that our people are spiritually autistic, and that's what we're dealing with, right? You not, bruh, the way you handle somebody with special needs and the level of patience, compassion, and forgiveness is different. The approach has to be different. Let me get another example, right? Let's go to Romans.
It's also like you think about that account in Mark where Christ was brought, the boy who had the demons in him, and his father brought him to him, and how they had to chain him down, you know what I'm saying? Because he was just going crazy, you know what I'm saying? Christ could have got mad and been like, man, get this man out of here, man. You know, he tripped too much, won't sit still, you know what I'm saying? But
right,
I'm trying to help you out. Right. But he knew the purpose that he had to fulfill, and that's to heal the man. So he didn't get vexed. He knew what the man was sick with and said, look, let's get him healed. Right.
Oh man. A lot of things, a lot of times, man, our people don't know what's making them act that way, right? A lot of times our people don't, and you're supposed to know what's making them act that way, right? These principalities and spiritual wickedness, right? We're supposed to know why our people are acting this way, and we got the antidote for it, right? But first, we got to check ourselves and come with the right approach in healing our brothers and sisters, right? This is Romans 11:25.
Come on, Romans 11:25. It says, "For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits."
Right there, I want to stop real quick. It says, "Man, brethren, I don't want you to be ignorant," meaning I don't want you to act like you don't know, right? This mystery. And if you don't know, I'm about to explain to you what's happening, right? Keep going.
Lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
It says blindness in part has happened unto Israel, right? Our people are lost sheep. Our people are also blind, right? Groping at noonday, latching onto any and everything, right? That's not good for them, right? Our people don't know. They don't even consider. Our people are sick. Our people are blind. Let's give an example of this, right? If you're walking down the sidewalk, downtown Macon, right? Sometimes it get kind of busy. You see a man out there, he got his cane, he's slapping the concrete with it, he bumps into you. Are you gonna push him down? Hey man, watch where you going. When the man clearly blind, no, man. A lot of times, if you notice he's blind before you even get to, you gonna make sure you know he get by. You might step out the way a little bit, right? You know, that's that extra level of compassion when it comes to the approach we're supposed to have. Not meeting people like they already should know what we're doing, what they're supposed to be doing. You're meeting a blind man, right, and you're expecting him, right, to operate like somebody with eyesight. What kind of sense does that make, right? You treat somebody with mental instability like they're sane, and you hold them accountable as they're sane when they're not. What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make none at all. But that's our people. You know, at the end of the day, the people. Now, when I say our people, I'm talking about people in the truth, right? We go out there, and the brother Najid, right? I think his new name is Shalimar.
Hasmonious.
Yeah, right. He had a video, and he kind of touched on this too, man. He was like, man, I came into the truth. It might have took me you know, a month or two, but I came in and I know what I know, and now you're supposed to know what I know yesterday. And if you don't, I hate you for it, right? And if you're fighting back, I hate you for it, right? Because you're supposed to know what I know, and you're supposed to accept it yesterday, right? I'm not giving you no time to get right, to let it simmer, to let it dissolve into your membranes, right? I want you to know it now, and if you don't, to hell with you. Matter of fact, James and John sent fire on them, bro. Right? What did Kevin Hart say? He set fire on me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, that's how our people are, right? And we can't be that way. We cannot be that way, right? We have to understand. We got to count the cost, understand what we're dealing with, right? And then operate with the approach. I'm not gonna coach. The brother was just into his basketball season, right, with his team. I'm not gonna coach 7-year-old boys, right, or matter of fact, I'm not gonna coach 7-year-old girls, right, and expect them to know everything that an NBA player should know, right? She going down the court, right? She first of all, you know how 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds go down the court. They 1-2 dribble, pick it up, run 5 steps, 1-2 dribble to get to the other court. She missed the layup. I'm yelling at her because I'm saying, you're wide open. You should have dunked that. What sense does that make? It don't make none at all, right? KYP, know your personnel, right? When we're in this truth, we're supposed to know who we're dealing with at the end of the day, right? And again, man, we've been harping, and a lot of brothers been harping on this thing in our nation now, which is compassion, right? We have to have a level of compassion, man, right? I'm gonna end back on our principal precept today, right? Let's go to the book of Luke.
And Khan too, that's a mighty point though. The brother Najid, or Salakia Shalimar Hasmonious, man, he definitely puts things into perspective sometimes, because I know that we used to have conversations too, you know, in his dorm room, man. And one thing that has changed a lot about, you know, my journey since being in this truth is that noticing how things go when you've been in it for a while, and seeing how sometimes, man, like the point he was trying to make is, you get to a point where you in this thing, you feel like, man, everybody got to know what I know right now. And if you don't get it right now, you're going to be destroyed. The Lord is going to make you eat a missile right now. All because in this very particular moment, you don't get it. And that's the type of spirit that we got to kind of get away from, man. Because it's easy to read the multitude of precepts, especially when we go to Psalms 119:59, when it talks about I made it haste and delayed not to turn my feet to the commandments. We can go to Sirach 5:7, where it says, tarry not to turn to the Lord. We can read the multitude of precepts to tell people you got to make a choice right now, right this moment. But realistically, man, it since I've been teaching it, rarely it is never necessarily just like happened on the spot to where somebody just says, oh, okay, and stop all the sin that they commit right then and there, and just come on the other side with us. It's never happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and can you move over, brother? Y'all got an extra Bible for me? What ever happened, bro?
Yeah, like nobody just it never happened. Nobody just dropped all their plans and all of a sudden they keeping the commandments 24/7 to the T. Never since we've been teaching together.
Right. I did have to work today, brother, but screw work, man. Move aside. Now I'm gonna do the work with y'all. That never happened, bro.
God, it's never happened like that, and that's why, man. Sometimes you gotta remember. You gotta remember that everybody's intro to the truth and everybody's awakening is definitely different. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of our foremothers and forefathers didn't have the same awakening as even our brother Paul. Paul was on the road to Damascus and then he had his awakening, right? But he was, X plus years old when this happened, and he had known the truth already, right?
That's the thing too, man. A lot of us don't understand. A lot of us want to be bigger than the set, right? A lot of us want to be bigger than what we are, right? We're just messengers, right? Of course, the Lord can use us as he may, but a lot of us want to be that person that brought this person into the truth. A lot of times people don't come into the truth until they have personal encounters. Honestly, if you want to be 100% honest, people really only come into the truth when they have personal encounters with the Most High, right? Something happened in their life, there's something going on in the world or something like that. Something has brightened their eyes, but a lot of times it's not mortal men that actually, get into somebody's spirit to have them cross over or converted, right? And we got to get out that mindset of thinking that we're holier than now to be that person. Yeah, I just taught you beautifully, brother, and you don't want to come into this truth? I just laid it out perfectly for you, plain upon tables, right? What you mean you don't know yet? You got to think about it, cause brother, right? You plant these seeds, but what did Paul say? Some plant the seeds, right? Some watereth, but it's God that gives the increase, brother, not you, right? If there's gonna be any increase, it's not gonna come from us, right? We do our job as fellow laborers, and that's it, right? And with that being said, we gotta come with the right approach, right?
It ain't. And before we read the closing, man, I'm just gonna say, yeah, it ain't no amount of precepts that you can read, no beautiful breakdown that you can give that can make somebody change, like the brother just brought out. You gotta be a true disciple. Understand that, hey, your job is to get that word and then wipe your hands of it, because you did your part already. The Most High didn't say in Ezekiel that if you blow the trumpet and they don't change right then and there, then you're going to get put to death because they don't change right then and there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He said our job is to blow the trumpet. And once we blow the trumpet, go get some soap and water, wash your hands off, because your job is finished. It's on them now. The only thing that you can do after that is continue to do what you do, but in spirit and in truth, like the brother Azrael did a lesson on yesterday. You need both. You got to have that spirit of Christ that he had, to just do his job. But you got to do it in the physical, right? And you got to have that spirit to be able to perform that in the physical. And that's when you begin to examine yourself and count the cost to see whose disciple are you really of, Exactly. It's of Satan if you sit up here just cussing people out all day just because, they don't want to join your camp as soon as you break down Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying?
Again, man, you got to understand, man. You can break, like the brother said, you can break down something beautifully, right? Go all to the all right precepts, this, that, and the third.
The history included.
But the history included, man, I'm talking about you painting a beautiful picture. You showing artifacts, right? You got your little AI pictures, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand, man, our people, like we've been read, the heritage is taken away. Our people are sick, brokenhearted. Our people don't. The ox and the asses know who their owner is, and we don't, right? Our people are blind. That blindness in part that came to Israel, you know who put that blindness on us? The Most High. So at the end of the day, man, you can lay out something beautifully, and somebody still don't get it, right? Eyes to see but can't see, right? Ears to hear but can't hear, right? These things are what we deal with. You gotta be okay with that. Who though? You know what I'm saying? You gotta be okay with that, with just doing your job and being fulfilled that you're doing your job. You know what I'm saying?
God, let me read this. This is Luke chapter 9 and verse 54, and it says, And when his disciple James, Salakia, it says, and when his disciples James and John saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did?
Right, man. So they want, again, man, whose disciple are ye of? Right? Are you this? And at this point, are you disciples of Elias right now? Right? Why you keep bringing this man up? Don't you know you're supposed to be following me right now? Right? You know, you don't know which time. I know you got some of you guys believe in, that you're so and so back on the earth again, right? But right now, right now, whoever you are on the earth, you're supposed to be following me. That's what Christ is saying, right? You're not following Elias. Elias is asleep right now. You know what I'm saying?
Con. But he turned and rebuked them and said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of.
You guys been following me this whole time, right? And you don't even know what spirit you're supposed to be moving in. You're not supposed to be moving in the spirit of the prophets. You're supposed to be moving in the spirit of Christ, of me, of love, right? Keep reading.
Con, verse 56. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them.
Right.
And they went to another village.
Right. It says, for the Son of Man is not man, Elias came to destroy men's lives, man. You know what I'm saying? Elisha came to destroy men's lives. Me, the Son of Man, right? Christ, I came to save them. I'm tired of losing them, right? I'm trying to get some more on our side, man. We out here losing, right? So understand who's this. Ask yourself, right? Whose disciple are you of? Every single time you go out and you minister, every time you pick up the phone to text somebody, to DM somebody, to spread this gospel to your family, your friends, right? Ask yourself, whose disciple am I of, right? Before you respond, before you react to anything, right? Because a lot of us think we're mightier than what we are, right? And we're just not. We got to understand which approach we're supposed to be taking. But that's all I got for today, man. I told you it was going to be a little shorter video today, right? Hopefully it was edifying. You got anything, brother?
Con, I was just going to say, hey, look, just go back and read John 8 sometimes, and understand the words of Christ, man. Hey, you are of your father, the devil. Some of us, you know what I'm saying? And not even some of us, all of us, like the brother said, have to continuously re-examine ourselves each and every day, right? And you want to be moving in the right spirit when we're teaching people, when you're trying to show people the truth, even when you got friends who you're trying to show the truth to and they're not hearkening to it, rebuke yourself if you get angry and have that patience, pray the prayer that, hey, the Most High may open their eyes if it be his will. And if it not, hey, long as you do your part and give them that truth, wash your hands and don't sweat over it. Don't go cussing them out because, hey, who is blind but my servant Israel, man? Isaiah 42:19. But with that, Shalom, mighty lesson, and I hope it was edifying. All praise to the Most High.
Come on, man, right? Giving all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his son, who is an instrument of salvation, who is the man who we're supposed to be disciples of, right? Who also said, if you're not helping gather, you're helping to scatter, right? So choose you this day, man. Understand the approach, count the costs, know your personnel, study hard. We'll see you guys next time. Shabbat Shalom, man. Hope you guys have a great day. Khan. Shalom.